A huge AEW title match has been announced, and will CM Punk feud with the Elite in AEW? But first, let's get to the quickfire headlines, as the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter has revealed that there has been discussions within WWE of The Rock making his return at the Royal Rumble this January, with this leading to him winning the whole thing. Whilst there's no word on if his schedule would allow for the match to happen, the win would set up a match between Rock and Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, and for a spot at the head of the table. With that said, no plan is 100%. Last night, AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill would reveal that she is set to play a role in a popular animated television series, with her taking to Twitter to break the news, and she would write, "Did my first voiceover for a huge animated show today. So excited to share in the future. God is amazing." It remains unclear exactly what show Cargill will feature in, with her contract likely preventing her from speaking too much for now, although we'll probably find out in the coming weeks or months. WWE superstar and former TNA World Champion Robert Roode would take to Twitter to provide an update on his recovery from injury, with him having not wrestled since April. He would reveal that he's undergone a major surgery and is now on the road to recovery, and would write, "Big thank you to Dr. Andy Cordova and his amazing staff at Andrews Sports Medicine and St. Vincent's Hospital in Birmingham, Alabama. C5/6 fusion is complete. Now the work begins. Recovery and rehabilitation. Looking forward to the challenge." It wasn't specified how long the recovery process will be, although My Health Alberta notes that it can take up to 4 to 6 weeks to get back to usual activities, and perhaps longer for wrestling. PWG have announced some of the names set to appear in the now infamous Battle of Los Angeles tournaments, which will take place over 2 nights on January 7th and 8th at the Globe Theatre. So far, Michael Oku, Shun Skywalker, Masha Slamovich, Speedball Mike Bailey, Commander, Alex Shelley, Jonathan Gresham, Aramis, Titus Alexander and Jordan Grace are all set to be involved. Past winners of Bola include Adam Cole, Kenny Omega and El Generico, with Daniel Garcia of AEW winning the most recent 2022 edition in January. On last night's episode of WWE SmackDown, yet another released WWE superstar would make their return to the company. Tegan Knox, who was released by the previous regime in November 2021, would show up to aid Liv Morgan from an attack by Damage Control's Bayley, Dakota Kai and Io Sky. This is actually Knox's first wrestling appearance since her release over 1 year ago, with her having not worked elsewhere in the business since. Wrestling would come home for Ricochet last night when he left Friday Night SmackDown with the SmackDown World Cup trophy, defeating Santos Escobar in the final of the tournament. Whilst there was interference from Escobar's Legado del Fantasma, it was the American that scored the win over the Mexican with a 630 splash. Ricochet has now earned himself a shot at the WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Kofi Kingston would appear backstage on SmackDown last night to declare himself for the upcoming Royal Rumble match on January 29th, with him being the first contender to be added to the men's match. We now await the 29 other men to be confirmed, as well as the 30 participants in the women's match. Lacey Evans would be introduced on SmackDown last night, where she was seen getting back to basics, with her heading back to her military roots. The former military police officer in the Marines could be seen going through military training, preparing for her in-ring return. This isn't the first time that Evans has been repackaged this year, although this is the first time under the new Triple H regime, with the head of creative having a new vision for the former Slammy Award winner. WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle is set to make his return to WWE on SmackDown next week, where a celebration will be held for his 54th birthday. Whilst the specifics aren't yet known, the announcement does follow chat on his podcast recently, where he revealed that he was open to one more match, although there is no word on if this is what's being set up on the show. Angle would say that he is uninterested in looking foolish by working a lengthy singles match, but could be talked into taking part in a tag match with younger guys that can carry him. The next challenger for Samoa Joe's ROH Television Championship was revealed last night on AEW Rampage, where former New Japan Pro Wrestling star Juice Robinson would appear via video message to make the challenge for the Final Battle show on December 10th. It was confirmed by Excalibur on commentary that the former 3-time IWGP United States champion has officially signed with AEW, something that was reported by PW Insider to have happened a few weeks ago. show. Another match would be added to the final battle card on Rampage last night after Keith Lee was confronted by the debuting Shane Taylor, who is a former ROH television and six-man champion. Taylor challenged Lee to a tag match at the pay-per-view, adding that he will bring JD Griffey with him, with Keith now looking to find a partner of his own. This means that there are now 5 matches on the card, joining Chris Jericho versus Claudio Castagnoli for the ROH World title, Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta for the ROH Pure title, Mercedes Martinez versus Athena for the ROH Women's title, and the aforementioned Television Championship match. According to Fightful Select, WWE superstar Becky Lynch is said to have played a role in the 2021 Marvel movie Marvel Eternal, although her scene was left on the cutting room floor. The scene was set to air after the credits in order to set up a future installment of the movie, but whilst it was pulled, the report notes that Lynch appearing in the sequel isn't out of the question. One person with knowledge of the situation claimed that the post-credits scene was too depressing, although no further context was given, but it was indicated that pop star Harry Styles would be involved in Becky's scene, with him playing the role of Star Fox. And next, a huge AEW title match has been announced. Popular AEW tag team FTR are finally set for a shot at the AEW World Tag Team Championships, this after topping the now seemingly defunct tag rankings for months. On AEW Rampage last night, it was confirmed that the Acclaim's Max Caster and Anthony Bowens will put their titles on the line against the reigning ROH, IWGP and AAA tag team champions, with the match going down this Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. On Rampage, the Acclaimed would state that they want to face the best, and after initially being interrupted by Austin Colton Gunn as well as Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, FTR would come to the ring and shake hands with the champions. This will be FTR's first shot at the titles since December 2021, where they would lose to then champions the Lucha Brothers on an episode of Rampage. As well as this, 2 other matches were added to the Dynamite card last night alongside the tag team bout, with Samoa Joe set to put his AEW TNT Championship on the line against the homegrown Darby Allin, who himself is a former TNT champion. As well as this, Jade Cargill and the Baddies will take on their former member Kiera Hogan, as well as Madison Rayne and Sky Blue in trios action, with the Dynamite card beginning to take shape. The matches add to the already announced Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, as well as a segment involving AEW World Champion MJF. And next, will CM Punk feud with the Elite in AEW? Ever since the post-all-out backstage altercation involving CM Punk, Ace Steel, and the Elite, the future of Punk in All Elite Wrestling has been up in the air. As of late, some fans are starting to believe that the real-life animosity could be turned into a storyline given recent CM Punk references from the Elite, both on AEW television and on their Being the Elite YouTube show, but it seems that this may not be leading to anything after all. Last week on Dynamite, the Elite would take direct shots at Punk in his hometown of Chicago, this during their trios match with the Death Triangle, with many thinking that this could be setting up an angle between the two sides that have been at war backstage. Well, we now have an update on the potential feud via the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, where it was noted that those close to the situation say there is no chance of that happening at this point. It was added that this appears to be a case of the Young Bucks mocking another one of their critics, something that they have done often over the years. This appears to dampen any rumours that Punk will return to AEW to confront Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, although it could just be that plans are being kept close to the chest of those involved, so it's important not to rule it out entirely. With that said, it was pointed out that highlights of the match that included CM Punk related spots did air on Being the Elite, although any references to the straight edge superstar weren't shown on the YouTube show, meaning it looks like they're putting it behind them, at least for now. This is contrary to the week prior where the CM Punk chants were specifically highlighted by the Elite, although the references appear to be slowing down.